Hello, family. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Hello, Jeffrey. Hello, John Barilla. Hello, everyone. We are very excited this evening, Vincent and myself. This is a special evening because I have Vincent. I managed to get Vincent during the week to join us. And of course, let's look at what data means, given that Vincent here is the man. Welcome, brother.
Okay, thank you, sister. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Listen to us. Jeffrey Malog, John, Peter, Collins, everyone listen to us. hello, and welcome to our discussion today. Thank you,
Yes.
Sister Ko.
Yeah, sure. Vincent, let's just start. We are excited to know if you could start by telling us what is data at all, because
Okay,
sometimes
okay.
we hear these things, we don't know what they mean.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Sister Comfort. So, like we're going to talk about today is about data. So, data is a collection of facts, so such as number or even measurement, observation. So, this is just a description of thing. So, and then we use that to help making a decision. So, we even in the information technology or maybe in a electronic world, we can store data and use by a computer. So this is how. And then we have two type of data because we have a qualitative data and then quantitative data. So qualitative data is describe information. So if you want to describe something, you use a qualitative data. So quantitative data is also numerical information like numbers. So I can give example of maybe qualitative data. So to qualify someone using the data, you can say he has a long hair. So this is a qualitative data, or he has a lot of energy. Or in other word of quantitative data, you can say he has maybe 4 legs, or he has two brothers. This is also another way to say quantitative data. So I will also talk about how we collect data, collecting the data. So data can be collected in many ways. Like the simplest way is direct observation. Like when you standing by the roadside and then you counting cars. This is a direct way of data. When you collect data by doing a survey, is also another way you collect data. So a census where when you're collecting data for every members of or the group of the population. This is a census. A sample also when, for example, you are collecting data just for selecting number like a group of people playing football, like 120 people in a local football club. So this is I would say, a example like a sample of a data. So now, what we need to understand about data, we have a way also to protect the data. So we have a Data Protection Act. I know in UK we talk about Data Protection Act, but we have a data protection and data privacy. So I need to explain and then people understand the difference between data privacy and then data protection. So for the data privacy, also define who has access to data. And then when we talk about data protection, that is the tool and the policy that we actually put in place to ensure that the data is protected. So the data privacy, for example, is a guideline. Let's say it's a guideline for how data should be handled. Like if you go to a company, how they collect data, how they handle data, this is a sensitive information and importance. So the data privacy is also typically applied to personal information. Like when you do health information, this is the personal data. When you use your date of birth, is the personal data. So if you want to identify someone information, this is the personal data. When you also use like social security number, this is a personal data. So this is come to the privacy. So we need this apply sensitive information. Though the organization need to protect this information, so they have to handle it with the care and also with integrity as well. So this is how the data privacy works. So in top of that, data privacy also help information, because the data privacy, we need to put also some guideline that no one, only maybe authorized people have access to the data. So this is how we use it to protect to make the data more private. And then it's also prevent the criminals to access the data. So this is a call it data privacy. So this is the privacy of the data. So it's private. No one can have access to it, and then only authorized people can have access to it. Because, and then protecting the data is also the quality data protection. So the data protection is another way we use tools to protect the data. So we use tools, different tools in IT system to protect the data, so to prevent, so people cannot use the data. So people coming from maybe different area, we cannot use the data. So we have a lot of tools. So we use nearly end of this part. I will also describe and give you an example of the tools that we needed to protect the data. So like firewall, encryption, or maybe endpoint, all these tools are the system that we needed to protect the data. So
Okay,
the data protection. Yeah.
listen, before you go ahead now to give us like the tools and all of those, we want to now localize it to unpassive, right? We know that even like you have mentioned, data seems to be a big deal to businesses, and especially the IT company, the IT industry. So what is the importance of data, for example, to unpassive? And maybe their means of data collection, because there's various types of data, means of collection, and so on. Are there bad means of collecting data? Are there good means? So just use this example here, how important it is to unpassive, for example, how they deal with how unpassive deals with data and all of those.
Okay, thank you, Sister Comfort. Because all our information, when you go to back office, everything else there is a personal data. We have our personal data. So that data on passive protect the data so that no one can get that data outside there. Like we said a couple of weeks ago, on passive is not going to sell anyone data. So those data we have it there, because data is money. Some organization, they use the personal data, like you and me, our information in unpassive, they sell it to outside company to make money. This is also data. But unpassive is not doing that. And then this data is private, and then unpassive take care of that and then protect the data. So when you not only our personal data, so that personal data become privacy, and then we have our like product, our unpassive product is also need to be protected, so that it come to the data protection. So because they have so many information tools, so many sensitive information also there, that we need to protect them so that outside world or other third parties, they cannot get that information, and then they cannot get to our system to steal the information. So unpassive have the right, the duty to protect them. So we use the security measures, all the security tools to protect those information, so that the information cannot be outside, or maybe cannot be scam, or maybe cannot be phishing by bad guys sitting outside there. This is the role that unpassive is playing. And playing that role, unpassive also have introduced artificial intelligence security measure, and that powerful tools also, that artificial intelligence have security tools to even prevent staff know what is going to happen tomorrow, and then stop hackers and also the fishers, the bad guys trying to steal our information. So it is also another big security tools that it prevents the future everything. If we know that in this region of Britain, some people are planning to attack unpassive, this tool, artificial intelligence tool that we are using, can prevent and tell unpassive that we have from people who are trying to attack our system, our data, so that we can put some measure and prevent, so that they cannot attack our system. So we have that as well in unpassive.
So one thing, like you said, because many companies, they collect data just because they want to sell it, to make money with it. But then we know that we have data centers, not only a data center, but massive data centers here and there. So why is ONPASSIVE collecting data when they don't want to sell it? What are they keeping it for? What else do they do with data?
Okay, having the data, because we need the data to work. Like if you work for an organization, we need your personal data. Let's say if I'm working, I went to work for ONPASSIVE. ONPASSIVE have the right to get my personal data, and then that personal data they will get like my NI number, my name, my date of birth, my passport, ID, everything have the right to work in this country. This is the personal data that ONPASSIVE will use it. And then when ONPASSIVE get that data, ONPASSIVE need to protect the data, handle with care, put all the security measure, because if you don't do it the proper way to handle, or maybe looking after the data, you could be fined by the Data Protection Act in the UK, and then it can also affect ONPASSIVE reputation that, oh, this company, they don't do well with the data, or they are selling people data. So our job is to protect the data so that data cannot be revealed to anyone. This is the first thing. So all the information, and then all the customers' information, customer who will come to buy the ONPASSIVE product, they will come with their own information, credit card information, bank detail, everything. So that also, again, ONPASSIVE need to protect those information that no one can get it, because criminal, when they come to a place like ONPASSIVE, what they were looking for, they were looking to get these customers, not only maybe affiliate information, they were looking also to get the customer information, because when the customer come with a lot of information like credit card, all those kind of information they needed to trade or to do business. So they want to get this information and go and sell it outside there, and then we make them money. So having our data center is to protect, because we own the system, owning the data center, we own the data, we own all the information there. So it's our duty to protect it. And then we are sure that the information we have in our data center is protected. And then no unauthorized person can go in and get the information or sell it to a third party, because the bad guy, when they get the information, is not to keep for themselves. They're going to use it for commercial purpose, that they're going to sell it to different, they can sell it to you, they can sell it to a different company, say, look, we got information from this giant company, this is what we do. So our ONPASSIVE also have the tools. That's the main reason why we have the data center, because the data center is allow us to protect all the information, our data information and the customer data. Every single information we have in there is protected, is 100% secure, so that no one can come in and steal the information and use it as the way they want to do it. So that's the main thing that, or the reason why it's important to have the data, because if you have your own data center, the information, you own everything in there, you can protect it, and then you can put all the security measure you want to apply to it, so that the data is 100% secure, and then no one can go in and get the information as easy like you go to someone else and steal and go out. So that's why it's important, because giving our data to another company, third party, to look after, they can do whatever they like, because you have no control of what they are doing in their own data center. But when ONPASSIVE own it, we trust what we are doing, and then all the information is secure and based there, so no one can take it. But put it to someone else, we don't know what is going on there, and then you don't control, and then you can do whatever you want to do there. But on your own data center, you are free to do what you want to do, and then you are secure, because everything is under your control.
I'm just wondering, because there's so much being said here, because it never occurred to me that many people pop into the system. You think that everybody is coming with a good intention, but bad guys are always ahead of the game, because if I understand you well, they pop in like they're coming for business, but then they're coming to steal. That's really good. So Vincent, so many people have heard about ONPASSIVE, but one thing that is stopping them, is just that fear that, oh my God, I can't give my data again. I'm not signing. But they want me to create a new email address and join. They want you to take my data and sell again and stuff like that. So you are guaranteeing us here that we are, our data is quite secure and all of that. So apart from that, apart about the data centers, I don't know if you can touch a bit too on that, because we know that even giants on the in the world now who have got those data centers and all of those things, we don't know so much about how many data centers they have, but we've got a few. What is the wisdom about having data centers here and there, not just one, and then put
Okay,
everything?
thank you, Sister Comfort. The wisdom to have our data center, first of all, is to we have hold it for our personal information. So we hold our personal information that no one can go in and take it. And data center also, we in our data center we can put our all technical measure like firewalls and detection, even the traffic monitoring. We can in our data center we can monitor the traffic from maybe one state to another, one town to another, or one country to another. We can monitor them, and then again, when it comes to authentication or authorization, we know we have access to the system. We can get into our system, and then we can in our data center we can put also the multi-factor authentication, our security measure we want. Like we can do the best security system that we can put in place to have access to our data center. We can put encrypt our system. Right now, when our database, for instance, in system, when by this time business were out of office hours, the data the data is at rest. When the data at rest, we put encryption system that no one can get the data. So right now, if I use my IT skill and go there and steal the data will be useless because I cannot use it anywhere else because of encryption system that I put on the data. So that's why they call it data at rest. So having a personal data center is a great opportunity also because it's like you have your money and then you give your money to your neighbor to keep in his house. So you're not safe enough because at night when you are sleeping, you don't know what your neighbor can do with your money. Anytime anything can happen. So having your money in your own house is the same thing when ONPASSIVE have a data center. So because when I put in this way, people will understand. Having your money in your own house, you trust where your money is, and then is your own safeguard, and then security. You can put a safe in a house that no one knows, and then you can control it. You can take the money anytime you want. You don't have to go outside to your neighbor to knock. Oh, today can I take £100 from my money? No. So you have control of it. You can do whatever you want to do it, and then you are 100% guaranteed that it is under your control. So you can do whatever you want to do, and then you have also. Not only that, you put all the security measure that you think is best for you, that no one is like in front of your house. You can put CCTV camera, you can put anything you want that you think you can do, and then protect your house, your wife, your children, and yourself. So this is what ONPASSIVE having our data center mean to us. We have put all the security measure around our house, so no one can get in to the house. And then we have like even you can put even security guard protecting also physically the building. It happened also CCTV around the building, all the security technologies, AI, everything is incorporating there. So we sleep without any issues because we are guaranteed that everything in the house and then everything is protected. So we are safe, 100% safe. But because we cannot say 100%, we say 99% safe, having our own data center. So the information cannot go outside. No one can come and steal our information and sell it to the public. So this is the importance of having our data center.
So if I understand you well, do you mean that we have both physical and digital security of our data? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because data center, we have also physical security and then the digital security. The physical security can come by security guard. No one can enter into the premises just like that. And then we have a CCTV around all the security, physical security around the building, even access to the building. if only authorized staff can access the building, because no, if you are not authorized, you cannot access the building. You understand? So no third party personnel can go into the building, because someone access the building can do something. Someone who is not authorized to enter into your house, if you allow him to your house, you can see, Sister Comfort have jewelry in this place, this, and then anytime he can come and steal and then go. But if that physical security is done, and then we had also the technical security, also the firewall, or the encryption, authentication, authorization, multi-factor authentication. If all this say technical, and then AI security also, all this top into that, we are safe. No one can have access to our data.
All right. I know that you emphasize a lot. Oh, you just like Oliver, just like the rest, Collins, them, and the rest. You all emphasize on the fact that our security is guaranteed up to 99% and stuff, but there are still worries. ONPASSIVE moves a lot. Like the transition from one state, we used to be Go founders, we moved to the O founders back office, to the OES. We have O Connect, and very soon we'll have the commercial O Connect. All these movements and changes. Do you think that? Don't you think that there's some degree of risk involved? That at some point there could be some breakage and leakage somewhere, and we lose our data, maybe like accidentally?
No, I would say no, because I'll give an example of everything, because moving the data in transit is also encrypted. So when I'm using the data from your point to my point, the data is encrypted. So middle person cannot get the data what you and me we are doing. And then also when we manipulating the data is also encrypted. You understand? And then when the data, we have a data in geographical area. Let's say if anything happen, big accident happen, because the meaning of a multi data center, a multi-level data center that ONPASSIVE have today, if for instance we don't know, we have our IT office in Hyderabad, and then let's say anything happened to Hyderabad, natural disaster, it rain a lot, and then everything, we lost everything there, we no worry. With our data center, in multi-region data center in a different area, we can use the information that we have stored, like the backup we have stored in the UK, and then we can use to restore our old system in Hyderabad, and then the office can be backup. Anything we put in place, anything they lost could be restored within maybe an hour, and then everything is done. So all this is put in place. Mr. Hash has putting all this security in place. That's why me, as someone who knows, I'm not worried, because I know everything is in place. So the system is secure. So we should not worry, because the transit SSL is there. TLS is also there. We have encryption. When the data, anything we are using with the data is encrypted, no one can get it. So we all endpoint protection is there also. We have also antivirus and then anti-malware. Everything is in there. So we should not worry about the security. Everything is put in place. So we have the best data system in place there. So even when we are sleeping, that's why I say data at rest, TDE, transparent data encryption is there also. So it's protect the data. So if anyone go into the system, like on premise right now in the Hyderabad office, the office is closed, someone go there and steal the data, he cannot use it because it's encrypted. And then they don't have the encryption. And then the encryption code, because the data center could be in the Hyderabad, and then the encryption code could be in a different data center on different area, or we don't put them in one place, because if it's in one place, someone can go and catch and then get the information and go. So the information of the encryption code or the passphrase of the encryption could be maybe here in London. We don't know. And then the data center could be maybe in Hyderabad or maybe in China, so that when anything happens, we can use the information from London to restore the system here. So this is how it happens. So it's a very technical measure and intelligent way that we have done the system that no one can see. So even when something happened right now in one of our servers, we can fail over, like let's say the server we are using, you and me, we are talking on it, anything happen, the system automatically will fail to the server in maybe Hyderabad. If we are using the server in London, can fail in the one in Hyderabad, so that those people there, the business will be like business continuity. You will know, it will beep for maybe 5 seconds. You will not know that one of the server has crashed somewhere, because it's automatic, something of 5 seconds, and then anything else people are doing, it will beep like that, and then they will keep doing their job, but not knowing that where you were working has changed from A to B now, and then other way around happen. So this is the technical way, all the technical measure that Mr. Asher has put in place, and then it's working fine. So we should not worry, everything is fine. We are fine.
We are fine indeed.
Yeah.
So, Auntie Lynn has just contributed that other advantages of having our own data center include cost savings, scalability, and disaster recovery. So, is that what you have been saying in other words?
Yeah. So we have been saying this for a while. Even Mr. Asher has been saying this for a long time, because of having your own data center. Like we can use it. Let's say we have a big data center today, and then on passive, maybe we need only 20 servers or 20 storages to do our jobs. So we can use for 20. So when tomorrow business grown up, we can use from 20 to 40 to 50. And then if it comes time that maybe we don't need more, we can scale down again. From 40, we can go to 50 or something like that. And then it saves us money, because go and visit another company data center or third-party data center, we lost a lot of money, because we have to pay them. The company I used to work before, we were paying £1 million for having our data center hosted by Azure, because the database was hosted by Microsoft Azure. So the company I used to work for, they were paying £1 million a month for having only hosting the data there in that Microsoft Azure. But we have our own, so we can save us money and time, and then flexibility. So people can work anytime, because even some data centers, some company, they can say from 6 o'clock, because it's costing, they can say from 6 o'clock, no one can access the data, we stop there. So we don't spend money to buy, because no one in the office can use the system, so they stop. But with ONPASSIVE, we can use it 24 hours and monitor the world, because when it's maybe 6 p.m. in Hyderabad, it could be maybe 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. in the UK. So it's 124 hours we are using the system, no interruptions. So this is also another good part of having your own data center. So we say all these things, so it's all very important as well. And then also, not only that, scalability, availability, all this is also even saving money. Is also it's also security, because we have all the security that we want. We can implement all the security that we want in our data center. Maybe some data center will say implementing this type of security is costing. So they will say, no, we're not doing, because it's costing, it costs us a lot of money. But because it's our own data center, we put all the best, even artificial intelligence security measure put in place, that a lot of companies will say it's costing, they will not do it. But we'll do it. We're doing it. So this is all the advantage of having our own data center.
All right. I know all of these things you have explained, and you are confirming, you're agreeing that it's going to save money, for example. But then you've also made me understand that they can scale up or scale down depending on the need at the time. So does scaling up and down not also come with cost?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Having our data center is a big advantage when we talk about scalability, because let's say if the data center is not for us, and then today we are using, because I know sometimes we are using maybe 20 servers right now for our business, and then we come that the business is growing, we need maybe 40 or 50. So going up, we have to pay money for that. And then the company will ask us to pay more money to scale up, because it's not free. If you are using more CPU, you have to pay money for that. If you are using more memory, you have to pay money for that. So the everything you are using extra, is not free. You have to pay for it. You understand? But if you scale it down the other way side, like business used to be well, and then now we are not going well. We need to reduce our capacity or storage down everything. You cost you less now. Say if I pay 1 million a month right now our activity are not going well. We can look into it. Okay, now you're scaling down, so we can pay maybe 500 or 600,000 pound a month, so that it will cost you less because you are not using more resources right now. So this is back. If it's our own, we don't pay any money, we don't own anyone. We can up, down, and then we can use the resources because IT system, if we have less resources, the capacity also affect the performance of the database. Let's say if you're using less memory, less CPU, it can also, even storage also is costing, because more you use the data center storage to put your stuff, is costing. Nothing is free in IT world. So if we use our own data center, we can use unlimited storage we like. But if we come to a different company, like we are hosted by different company, we have to pay the storage we are using. We have to pay the memory, the CPU, all this we are using, the capacity of the servers that we are using, we have to pay for it. It's not free. So this is how the data center work. But if we use our own, it's like your own car. You can drive and go everywhere you want to go. You understand? But if you go to a taxi, you can drive you for a few miles, you say you pay £10 or £20. So this is how in the data center world, is a similar scenario, how the system works. In your car, you can once you put petrol in, boom, you can go everywhere you want, as far as you can drive to. But if it's not your car, it's a taxi, you are limited to where you want you to take you to. And the more you travel, more it costs you. But your own car, only thing will cost you is to pay petrol, and then you're driving. You can go from London to Glasgow, no problem. But when it's not your own car, you cannot do that distance. It costs you a lot of money. Yeah, so it's the same thing like data center. If I put in this way, I think people will understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you break it down really simple. Even me, I get it because you make it look really simple. Thank you so much. So yeah, so I think I'll just let you know whatever thing you have. Maybe I know I'll interrupt you with questions and stuff. So if you see have any other thing in mind to say about data or data center, all around data, you can go for it. Meanwhile, on this note, you use the opportunity to encourage those who are not really engaged with their business, and equally people who hear about this and they think that, oh, I'm not joining this business because of my data and stuff. So you have the last minute now to just round up. So take your time, just say everything you think, and then that will be the last one. Thank you.
Oh yeah. So, but anyway, I think we said everything, because data in the data world we have also. But okay, let me talk a bit about also the backup, because the backups and then business continuity, because the backup also play a big role in the data center, because in the data center all the activities, anything we are doing is backup in the data center. So when anything happen, we can use that backup to restore the data. And then this also is also the best way for the data management, because if anything in data management and data availability, because if we have the backup, let's say we have a office in Dubai, something happened and then they lost everything, we can use the backup store in our data center to restore everything in the Dubai office. Just in if it depend of the capacity of the information, it can go for maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, depend of the capacity. If it's big, it can take maybe some hours, and then everything is restored. So this is also involved in data management, because that's what ONPASSIVE also is doing well, because we know how to do that data management, and then also the data availability, because the whole point is not only to have the data should be available to people when they need it, and then the data also should be also have access to those individuals who should have access, not everyone to have access. And then even to the role-based people, if I'm maybe the data engineer, I should have access to the part of the role that I'm doing, not all everything. So individuals should be limited to the access to the data as well. So it help also for the data management and the data manipulation. And then it help also to protect the data, because data today is money. If you don't protect well and then you don't take care of the data, you are losing money, because it will also damage the company reputation. Imagine that if someone say, okay, on passive they are selling people data, it's finished, it's going to damage our reputation. And then I know for sure this is not going to happen, because this is going to damage our reputation. And then so we have to take care of the data, though the privacy and the protection is very important. Even when it comes to country, we have today GDPR. So GDPR in the European, they put this in place to protect the data. So they how we treat, we manage the data in Europe. So it's a sensitive thing. So the most important, the integrity of the data, the availability, and then also the continuity of the data. So this is a very important for us here. So this is the three things that the data should be available and secure to the users. So this is very important. And then that's why we have a data privacy and data protection. So it's the two things that we should not confuse. The data protection, even the data protection is protect the data, all the tools, technical tools that we use it to protect the data. And then the data privacy is to protect the company have the right and duty to protect individual and then all the information, because if they do it bad, it's going to damage the reputation. If they do it bad, they could be fined, and then the issue could be go to the court, and then company could be fined. So I know not everyone want to be fined by the any government. So this is how you should do these two ways to protect the data.
Now, when you brought data backup, something just came to mind. In places, developing countries and world like Africa, for example, where electricity is an issue, right? So, would they still enjoy the benefits of the data like we have with unpassive and stuff? Like the data backup, all of those things, because electricity is on and off most of the times and
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for this great question. So inside of a data center, it's not only a computer machine or maybe all the IT equipment is there. After the IT equipment, we have like power supply, interrupted power supply, generators, all the latest generators technologies that we put in there, because we know that electricity from any way could be developed or not developed countries, the electricity can cut off anytime. So outage of electricity. So because of that measure, and then also in the inside the data center, because I went inside some data center to do some job before, so I know it's very hot. So if we cut the electricity for maybe 10 minutes, so many things going to blow off because in all the machine, they are working 24 hours, so it make the environment very hot. So to cool the place, we put some air cooling condition inside the data center. So this machine need to work 24 hours. So every single data center, they have uninterrupted power supply. They have generators. So when the electricity outage, immediately they replicate. So if you are inside the data center and then we have electricity cut outside, you won't realize until you go outside, because everything will work like nothing happened. Because once the electricity outage, immediately the generators and the power supply, they take off and then they start working also. When the electricity come in, they stop working. So it doesn't matter whether it's in Africa or developed world, in the United States or in Europe, all this is measure is in place in the data center. That's why when we have a data center, we have a business continuity, because nothing will stop.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you, bro. So if you really have another second, you just your last word to encourage people. That's all. Just a word of encouragement. Now I think you've emptied yourself for today, though. I know you will still come back.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
All right.
Thank you, Sister Comfort. Yeah.
Okay. So if at least so I should do the closing remark here because Vincent, we just appreciate you for all the information about data. This is something that people just need to know. And guys, we just need to encourage everyone because like I say every day, know your business. These are the things that when we know, then we know that we need to just chillax because it's a done deal. It's unstoppable. And the choice is yours whether to get there or not. So, guys, let's do what to share. Thank you too for your great contributions. Let's keep doing this and keep the fire burning because things will never be the same again. Love you all,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you and see you
Thank
tomorrow.
you,
Thank
Sister
you for
Comfort. Thank you,
listening.
everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye bye.